welcome to Sales Talk, where we talk everything about sales, motivational, and personal development. Welcome to my channel. My name is Dan, and today's topic is limited beliefs. Limited beliefs is really an umbrella for a lot of different things, but what we want to focus on is what holds us back, and it's really it's all in our mind. It's our belief system, and our belief system has been evolving over the years as we are a young child, into our toddler years, into our school years, into our adulthood and beyond. So we're always being challenged with what's holding us back, what's causing procrastination, what's preventing us from being able to take that leap forward or exercise the ideas that we have in our mind, or to take advantage of our creativity. So, or even if it's out in the world where you're going to a new place to explore, it can be as simple as, I can recall a time when I was, canoeing with my friends, and, we came to a fork in the river where you could either go right or you could go left. We've always gone right because we know that that's the path that we know that we can get through. But what about what goes on left? What does that look like? What are the obstacles? You don't know unless you try. So if you get stuck, worst case scenario, you have to paddle backwards upriver, which is more of a challenge. Or maybe you find, a new destination spot that you can move to or visit the next time. So limiting beliefs is really it's the roadblocks to being able to move forward. And there's all sorts of those. For example, I have my vision board here, and it's going to appear backwards to you. But right in the center of the vision board, it says the only limit is you, with all of my goals that are surrounding my centerpiece. So putting the goals together, whenever you're doing that, of course they need to be something that you can achieve, and they need to be measurable, and all the things that we talk about goals. But what's holding you back from achieving those goals? What do you need to achieve those goals? Is it monetarily? One of the goals that I have on my vision board is financial freedom. What does that mean to you? You may have noticed on the vision board, it says $1.8 million that's at the top. Well, what that means to me is that that's the amount of money that I need from the age of 65, when I can retire, up until the time that I expect to live, about 95 years old. And then that's going to allow me to live on almost $7,000 a month, plus my Social Security should, whenever that comes together, if that's even available to me at that time. Who knows what the future holds. But the point is that reverse engineering that goal, a monetary goal, is going to give you an idea of what to shoot for. So all of the goals that you see that surround my centerpiece of the only limit is you is, things that I desire, like cars, boats, motorcycle, a nice house to live in, something comfortable, nothing outrageous, but just things that I like to do, in my hobbies, and all of my goals support all of that. But going back to limited beliefs, oftentimes we get caught up in the structure of life, right? We're born, and we observe what our parents are doing, and we observe what the world around us is doing, and it suggests that you grow up, you go to school, whether you attend college or you don't attend college, you get a degree, you find a way to make money, and then you advance, from there. So get a good job, go to school, make money, take care of your responsibilities, don't get in any trouble, work for 30 years at a company, advance in the company if you want more, and then retire and move on from there. So that's like a basic structure of, a common theme for life. And for me, it's a lot different. I've never really subscribed to that. I've always been an entrepreneur, and I've worked in business and sales for the last 30 years, which I really have appreciated. It's taught me a lot. There's a lot of lessons, but there's been a lot of challenges, and I've had to focus on what it means to me to have limiting beliefs, and the way that we find out what our limiting beliefs are is we first have to recognize. We have to use recognition techniques, and that's brainstorming and writing them down. So for me, there was a lot of procrastination. What was holding me back? Why was I procrastinating? It was because, the outcome took so much in order to get there that it was uncomfortable at day one, right? But if you break it down, whatever your goal is, and you put them down in their different compartments, then you break those down, and then it becomes a much more manageable situation. So no matter what it is, so whatever your core roadblocks are that is holding you back, it's astonishing to think that we are only here to follow the leader, so to speak. What's it going to take for us to lead? If you want to be a leader, if you want to live a life of comfort and with not with just the basic necessary needs, gifts, that kind of thing, then of course that's your choice. That's what you can do. But I'm looking for more than that for myself and for my family. My kids. I want to be able to give back to my kids. A whole lot more than I have in the past, and I hope to be able to do that. So that's one of the goals that I have, and that's part of my financial freedom. But when we talk about limiting beliefs, where do they come from? Even at our early infant ages, we have an innate responsibility when we're first born. What's the first thing we do? We get smacked on the butt so that we cry, right? We have to breathe. We have to breathe. We have to eat. We have to be nurtured and touched by our parents or loved ones. And we need that. And when we don't get that, then we act out. How do we do that? We cry. We let somebody know, our whoever our guardian is or our parent, we let them know that we need something, and that something is a necessary need. So as we grow older, we evolve a little bit. Then if you think in terms of we're sitting there in our infants, and our young minds are looking around, and just whether we're smiling and laughing, sometimes we're crying, and sometimes we're content, we're sleeping. But when we look and we observe and we see all these giants, these people around us that are walking about the room and that kind of thing, we're observing all of this that's going on. So our young minds are telling us that this is something that we need to do. So how do you do that? First, we observe, and then we begin to crawl. We figure out that we strengthen our arms and we strengthen our legs, and we begin to crawl. Once we take several steps, we become stronger, our legs and our arms become stronger, and we're still seeing all these giants that are walking about the room and interacting with each other. So we want to stand up. We stand up, our mom or dad helps us, place us on our feet, and oftentimes, we encourage us to move towards the other person, the other parent, and take a step at a time. And wow, we took that first step, or wow, I took that first step and I fell and you caught me. Great. So there's a trust factor there. So as infants, we trust those that are teaching us and who we are observing. So we're building that conduit. We're building that blocking system to build on, right? So we begin to crawl, and then we begin to walk, and those are through observations. And then as our young minds develop even further, then we grow up and we start noticing, say in our toddler years, we start noticing what our parents are doing. And these are very impressionable years. If bad habits are showing up in the household, whether, it could be, not exercising, not eating right, the foods that our parents are feeding us, if those are things that are creating, negative habits for us, maybe it's not the best choices. But then we observe that and we witness that, and it becomes, a permanent part of us. Like that's the way that it should be, because that's the way that we're taught. And then as we grow up even more, then now we're independent. We get to make our own choices, but we're still secured by those observations that we've had in our youth. And what's right, we have that to reflect on as far as what is the right way to do things. Or, then we start challenging ourselves. Well, do I really want to do it that way? Or is this what's really holding me back? So now we're self-discovering what good habits are and bad habits. And we start thinking about the type of person that we want to be, the type of employment that we want to interact with, the way that we make money, the friends that we have, the circle that we're around. So all of these are impressions that we're making within ourselves. And as the more that we're making those impressions, our brain is using that as the way that we did it before. I didn't get hurt. Nothing happened. It was safe. So that becomes more of a catalyst in terms of our decision making. Well, I want to go back to being conservative and stay in that space because I know it's safe. Well, when you recognize that exists, then you can challenge those limiting beliefs and replace those limiting beliefs with more empowering ones. And that's really the key here. Write down all of your negative beliefs or your limiting beliefs that you have, whether it's, I can't do this, or I can't do that, or it's too hard, or I don't have the resources, I don't have the money, I don't have the friends or the connections or the contacts, I don't have the education, I'm not in the right field of work in order to be able to make the kind of money that it's going to take in order to be able to achieve my goals. All of these are limited beliefs that are holding you back. It's an excuse. It's a reason to not push forward and push on and be who you want to be, and be the most productive, the best person that you can be for yourself first and for others second, you know? So recognizing those limiting beliefs and then finding empowering beliefs to replace those. And here's the catch, is that you cannot you cannot replace a limiting belief without having a more empowering one in order to take its place. So you can do the polar opposite of whatever your limiting belief is. Say that you don't have the resources. Well, I do have the resources. I can find the resources. I can learn where to search for the resources. Asking yourself these open-ended questions will allow you to be in search mode. And I can tell you, whenever you're searching, you will find an answer. It may not be exactly the right answer that you're looking for, but it's somewhere to start. And then you can modify your questioning, because the way to improve is to improve the quality of the questions that you're asking yourself. And that's going to put you in a search mode where you'll find different ways in different places to find the answers that you're looking for to achieve your goals. So our limiting beliefs exists as a safe place for us to go back to based on our observations throughout our entire life. So it's always in continual motion. So you should consistently and regularly take a personal inventory of yourself. Write down all your strengths and all your weaknesses. You know best who you are, So there's some basic questions that I've been presented with recently, and I've been challenged with even answering them because of my limiting beliefs to this day. And I'm one who is about personal development and personal growth, and I'm continually looking at myself internally and figuring out, where this dialogue comes from. Why is my brain thinking the way that it's thinking? So self-discovery and self-improvement is necessary. But one of the questions that was posed to me the other day was, what's your perfect day? I was stumped. I couldn't figure that out. And what's a perfect day? There's so many perfect days that I can think of. What is a perfect day? So then I really had to reflect on, what that question really means. It's very basic and very simple, but to answer that, I needed to have a perfect answer, right? What's the perfect answer for the perfect day? Well, it depends on what we're talking about. Are we talking about a perfect day personally? Are we talking about it professionally? Are we talking about, whether it was just a good night's sleep at 52 years old like I am today? Sometimes it's a perfect day just to get a good night's sleep. But when that shows up, it's very important to be able to recognize you cannot have a perfect day without defining what a perfect day is for you. What does that look like? How does it make you feel? What's around you? What kind of smells are around you? For me, I always gravitate towards nature, and you've probably heard this already several times now if you've been watching these videos, is I gravitate towards nature. It allows me to be free and open my mind and think, as I'm in the woods, whether I'm hiking or if I'm on my, my off-road side by side and I'm traveling in the woods, and, I'm of course focused on the trail and the direction, but it also allows me to be free and feel the wind in my face and see all what nature has to offer, and taking time to smell the roses, so to speak, right? And that is my meditation space. And it's also my motivation space. My daughter and I, it's funny because we call it going to church when we go riding, so it's also a connection with spirituality and our relationship with God and Jesus, if you believe in that, or your higher power, if you will. So all of these things contribute to our belief system. And our belief system is really the foundation for what we act on and what we take action with. So if there's any part of your life where you're struggling, I would recommend that you take a personal inventory, figure out what that situation is and is about, and try to gain an understanding for its meaning. And then learn the lesson. There's lesson in absolutely every choice that we make. So there is no such thing as failure in my world. I've had several businesses, and and some much more successful than others. And when I've had businesses that failed, I didn't look at it as a failure. I looked at it as a lesson. What lesson did I learn? Did I learn that I didn't want to be in that industry, that industry didn't resonate with me soulfully? So I didn't really put all of my heart and soul into, creating a business that was supposed to be successful, which is the idea, of course, whenever you go into business. But sometimes, when we're working with our environment and our surroundings, we're motivated by different elements. Whatever's motivating us to move into a business. For me, it was a challenging time in my life, and I was in the 11th hour. I couldn't come up with a good business that really fit for me. So I took a personal inventory of myself, right? And I decided that I needed a showroom where I could show products. I needed customers that I could interact with individually, and I needed, a product that I could believe in. So I opened a mattress and furniture store. Figured, okay, well, every household needs mattresses and furniture. This has to be, at least somewhat easy because everybody has a need for it. So it turns out after 8 years of being in that business, and it never really met the expectations I had financially. So it came to, a very heartfelt decision to make to part with that business. Because of course you can imagine moving around mattresses and furniture all day. It definitely it took a toll on my body, both my shoulders and my lower back, and I was feeling that. And I knew that I didn't want to stay in that space any longer. So I ended up, closing that business, and I could have looked at that as, a failure, and I could have, gone recluse and sat in my bedroom and contemplate, but I didn't. I got up and I figured out what went wrong with that business, and I learned from that experience, right? So, moving on from that, in terms of our limitations, it's not easy to make a good quality decision, because there's always going to be roadblocks. There's always going to be a sense of failure, or can I do this, or wow, was this really the right move for me? I can tell you, whenever you open a business, if somebody were to write down absolutely every single thing it takes to open your own business, no one would ever open their own business, right? But sometimes we just have to take a leap of faith and rely on our education, our resources, and our experience in order to be able to have the confidence that we've built up over time to be able to fend off or safeguard against all of these fears and these negative influences. I can't tell you how many people around me told me that I couldn't open my own business or shouldn't open my own business, and those are the people that you have to weed out and kind of tone out. You have to provide a certain listening and bring in all of the encouraging words that you're hearing from around you and expelling all of the negative, right? Because that's really what it takes to build confidence and to be able to move forward. But limiting beliefs are responsible for our fears, our procrastination, our prevention from being able to move forward and take a sledgehammer through the wall of commitment and get through that, And when you're feeling like you're struggling or things aren't working out so well, I can tell you that that's a good sign that you are headed in the right direction. Because when we're met with that, then we are forced to be able to find a solution for whatever is motivating that fear or that pain point. Because I can tell you that at the end of the day, moving past that, and when you achieve that goal, there's no better sense of accomplishment than achieving the stepping stone to your success, whatever that goal is. Because if you're opening your own business and you've never worked with the government before, meaning that you have to have a tax ID and you have to register with the IRS and you have to register with the state that you're in, and you have to make sure that you're adhering to all the state and governmental rules and all of that. So once you get through that educational process, now you've achieved that, right? So now you have your licensing, you've got your business corporation, identification, and so then you've got this piece of paper that validates. It's almost like your award that you received, right? Oh my gosh, I just got my business license in the mail. Wow, how thrilling, how exciting. So then, but that's just where it begins, because now you have to have a location if that's what you're choosing, or if you're, whatever your online store is, if you're doing that, whatever the case is, you still have to move on, and all of those trial and errors are gonna impact, how you feel, and it does put pressure on you, but welcome that pressure as a learning opportunity. So as we continue to observe our surroundings and the people that we're gravitating towards. It's important to have, again, positive influences and mentors around you. Because those people are people that you can bounce your ideas off, and they're going to be positive in their reactions to you and offer hopefully solid advice. If not, you get to pick and choose. Any of this growth material that you listen to or that you read, you get to pick and choose what's going to work for you, and then discard the rest. That's the important thing. That's the lesson. You can always revisit the material when you need different answers, when you've accomplished whatever you're looking for. So limiting beliefs are those beliefs that hold you back. I can't do something. I'm afraid, or it's going to take too much time, or it's going to be too much effort, or wow, I'm not going to make money for 6 months while I open this, or I'm going to have a savings account to support 6 months worth of bills so that I can get this business up and running. And well, what if it doesn't work? We can always plant those negative fears and those limiting beliefs in our mind. But know with confidence that you can accomplish anything. You are who you are based on the information that you're receiving, and how you're conducting yourself to be able to move towards your goals and not away from them. Nobody did anything that was worthwhile that didn't hurt a little. And I don't mean physically, I mean, mentally, or physically maybe, mattresses and furniture, that physically hurt. But I'm saying that, you can always get through all of those lessons, and you can build, a foundation of success within yourself, constantly telling yourself that I'm the best. I'm the very, very best. Use affirmations. I do that all the time. I'm the best in this industry. I'm the best in this company. I've learned the lessons. I know the material, and this is absolutely going to work for me. I know it. I feel it. And for me, the whole purpose of being able to broadcast all of these videos for you is to show you that I've been there. I've been where you're at and what you're thinking. And I understand the struggles and the roadblocks. I've had my limiting beliefs, and still to this day, I'm still constantly recognizing my limiting beliefs. I'm not exactly where I want to be, but I'm getting there. And, that's what all of this is about. If I can help just one person achieve their goals and say that I was responsible for their motivation or accomplishment, that's all I need. That's all this is for, is to be able to help people. I want to help as many people as I can get to where they want to be. And we can do that together. So managing your limiting beliefs, telling yourself with confidence that you can accomplish your goals, is the best method in order to be able to create the world and the life that you are looking for. Limiting beliefs are merely the roadblocks to success. You can't truly appreciate success without experiencing what it means to have limiting beliefs. The beliefs that hold us back, that create procrastination and decisions that go against what it takes in order to achieve our goals, to smash through those walls of adversity, to accomplish what we're out to accomplish, to be as successful as we want to be successful. So understanding those limiting beliefs and what's holding us back and what are directing our decisions is extremely important to identify. And the way that we identify those is through brainstorming. It's an exercise of writing them down so that you can see the differences, and what your mental roadblocks are, what your thoughts are that are holding you back. All your I can'ts or I won'ts or it's impossibles, all of those are limiting beliefs. Those all need to be changed into their polar opposites. I can achieve, I am successful, I will accomplish this at all costs. And why? Why do you need to accomplish these goals and these tasks? Because you have a higher purpose for yourself and possibly for others. For me, that's exactly what this is about. This is to empower others to be able to improve the quality of their lives for themselves and their families. And you have the power to do that for yourself. I absolutely believe that with all of my heart. You get to choose what type of man or woman you want to be, what type of boyfriend or girlfriend you want to be, husband or wife, what kind of aunt, uncle, grandparent, grandma that you want to be, to those loved ones that are around you. Those are emotional connections. And if you're in constantly state of improvement, then like myself, you are continually looking at how you can be a better person to all of these people. What type of employee do you want to be? What type of an employer? What type of boss, manager do you want to be? What kind of relationships do you want to have with all of these people, whether they're subordinates or if they're, linear in peers, What sort of relationships spiritually do you want to find, and connect with? All of these people, you get to choose the type of person that you want to be and who you want to become. And the only obstacle is yourself. You get to identify where you can grow, and you can also learn the lessons from every single thing that you do, every action that you take. If you didn't like the outcome, or if you didn't like the way that you responded to a certain situation, guess what? You get to change that. You get to move past those negative limiting beliefs and move forward towards positive, influencing, empowering beliefs. Those that serve you, serve your purpose, and serve those that you love and that are around you. That's what we're talking about when we talk about limiting beliefs. What's holding you back? What's preventing you from being able to take that step, that action step? Because nothing can be done without action. That's absolutely for sure, whether it's achieving and accomplishing a goal or whether it's creating and developing a relationship with someone. All of that is within you to decide how you get to grow and learn and what type of person that you want to be in association to that. Who are your role models and who are your mentors and why are they in place for you? Why do you look up to them for those reasons? Not every mentor is equal. That's why you should seek out several, not just one. Many mentors that I've had throughout my career in sales and motivation and business, they weren't exactly the nicest people all the time. They didn't conduct themselves like I would have expected them to conduct themselves, whether it was the way that they treated clients or customers or whether they treated their friends. Maybe that was their habits after work, whether it was drinking and doing drugs, maybe, who knows. But, in any case, those influences, those mentors that you have, you get to pick and choose what strengths that you want to bring in and receive, and those that are disempowering that you want to exhaust, expel, and get rid of, so that you recognize continually those empowering beliefs, those that are serving you, so that you can better serve others. And that's the key component here. Is when you move from what's in it for me, and you can project outwardly what's in it for those around me, then you can truly become an advocate to helping other people achieve their goals. And that's really, what we're trying to, what I'm trying to accomplish here for others is recognition, figuring out what works and what doesn't, learn the lesson, and become the quality person that you desire to become based on who you want to be, not what other people deem that you can or cannot do or should not do. I can tell you throughout my life that it has been quite a roller coaster ride in terms of, support mechanisms that I've had in place. And I found many people that I didn't expect to be, a worthy advocate for me turned out to be that. And those that I thought were going to be, over the moon for me and be able to fly and soar with them turned out that, I didn't really like who they were. So, but I would never have learned those lessons without actually trying to create and develop those relationships. So you never know what's on the other side of that door unless you open it. And that's absolutely a gift that I can give you. Open those doors, with confidence, so that you know that, you may not understand what the outcome is, but enter it without an outcome in mind. And then enter it fearlessly so that you can receive the quality information so that you can make the best decision for yourself and for those around you. So recognize your limiting beliefs, not as a stopping stone or something that's preventing you from moving forward, but the action that's going to require for you to pound through. Create a self-confidence, a self-worth for yourself first, because the more that you can like or love yourself is all that you can like or love another. So like and love yourself first. It sounds basic, it sounds simple, but I can tell you that you have to have self-confidence, and it's a choice. Emotions are a choice. You get to choose to be in control of your emotions or let your emotions control you. but it is a choice. So I'm gonna leave you with that information, and I hope you found value in this video. And if you can like, subscribe, and follow this channel, please offer feedback and comments so that you can help our channel grow. The quality of these videos are only going to get better as the content does, and with your input, it will be certainly helpful. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time on Sales Talk.